Hello, hello. Oh, I just feel so much love. Okay, well, we can just go right into this inner space together. Just letting yourself start to take some nice deep breaths, even reminding yourself that you are here right in this moment. You are here. And with each breath, you can just come a little deeper into the now. Continuing to relax. And simply to be with what's here. And as we continue to simply be present, I'll read some parts of today's lesson. I am under no laws but God's. Each senseless thing you've thought to be your salvation has imprisoned you, while you seek for your salvation in things that have no meaning. You bind yourself to laws that make no sense. How simple is salvation? Look for it where it waits for you, and there it will be found. You are not bound by all the strange and twisted laws that you have set up to save you. Again, I am under no laws but God's. The body's suffering is a mask the mind holds up to hide what really suffers. So the mind really suffers. And we use the body as a mask to cover that over. It's pretty convincing. There are so many stories of how the body suffers. We're very familiar with them. We know our story, we know other people's stories. But he's saying here very clearly that all of this is a cover, a mask, so that we don't see what's really suffering, which is the mind's decision to believe it, that it could be separate from wholeness. Every suffering you've ever experienced, every sad story is for this reason. The mind would not understand it is its own enemy, that it attacks itself and wants to die. This is pretty intense. And we can see, we see how this plays itself out. There's so many versions of the sad story. There's a section in the course called The Hero of the Dream. We could call it the hero of the sad story. And maybe it's not as sad for parts of the story, but the purpose of the story is to be sad. The purpose of the world is to be a place for a sad story. At least until we use it for a right-minded purpose. We use it for the right-minded purpose of awakening, then we have a new purpose for it. But the world was made to prove sad stories are true. And again, it just almost seems like taken for granted. This is what the world is for. Sad things happen here. Hard things happen here. Painful things happen here. And the worst part, they happen to me. For me. Well, we don't have to take this for granted. Even if we've believed it our whole lives, we don't have to keep believing it. We don't have to stay in the sad story believers club. This is a club where we have entered voluntarily. But it usually doesn't seem quite so easy to leave the club. And why is that? Well, because we think there is a gain in being in the sad story believers club. What is the gain? Well, the gain is we get to stay safe from the vengeance of God. Safe in a little body in a great big world, great big universe. This tiny little body that seems like an insignificant speck. And if you ever hear about astronomy, you hear about the size of the universe. You know, we seem small on this planet. Well, the planet is small in the solar system. The solar system is very small in the galaxy, and the galaxy is tiny in the universe. If you ever hear about these things, how is it to be such a tiny, tiny little thing? That's just a belief in littleness, actually. You're not tiny. You are the light of the world. You're not insignificant. You're not smaller than a grain of sand on a beach in comparison to the universe. It's not true. That's a sad idea. And it's an idea that you have to believe if you're going to be in the Sad Story Believers Club. If you don't really want to be in this club. A part of you has been choosing it, but this is not a good club to be in. Doesn't matter how many other people are in the club, how determined they are to keep being in the club, how upset they might even seem to be with you. If you say, I'm leaving this club, people in the club don't like to hear that. They want you to stay in the club with them. Misery loves company. Well, you don't have to be in that company. You can quit. I'm out of here. And you have to really, really want it. That's the only way you're going to get out of this club. If you only sort of want to get out, then it's not going to happen. Even if you mostly want to get out, it's still not going to do it. I mean, that's where you have to begin. You have to begin wherever you are. But you want to know you want to go all the way. You can't actually be a little bit in this club. It is all or nothing. These thought systems we're choosing between are all and nothing. Just like you can't be a little bit pregnant. You can't be a little bit in suffering. You're either in suffering or you're not. You're either in a mindset that victimization is real, it happens, or you're not. It is complete. This choice for what you really are is a complete choice. And yes, it may seem to take steps to lead up to this choice. But you can't be halfway awake. You can't be a little bit in a dream. We can't go part of the way to heaven, because heaven is a state of mind. Heaven is a realization of what is already so. Now, in the Course, Jesus says, what does this realization cost? It costs your belief in the entire world you see. The whole world you see has to be let go of. Well, it seems like a big step. But how do we get there? We get there by working with what's here. We get there by looking at the anger we have right now against the person who's in our mind, the upset that we're feeling. Use it. Use this upset for healing. This is what it's for. This is what Holy Spirit is asking you to do. Look at the grievance. Look at the vengeance. Look at the pity. Look at the sadness. Look at the hatred. Look at the belief that someone has done something awful to you. Look at it in the light of real witnessing. It will eventually, you will see through this. You'll see that there's nothing to fear. but you can't see it if you're not looking. You can't see it if you're not bringing it forward into the light. So keep looking. Keep looking. And then if you're not in a place of peace, know there's more to do. There's more to see. Stick with it. Stick with the journey. Stick with the opening. Stick with the going there. It's totally worth it because you're going to get through it. And once you're through it, that's where the happiness is. That's where the peace of mind is. That's where the truth of what you are is. So let's bring it all forward. Jonas.
Morning.
Good morning.
Um, yeah, I could see this thought in my mind, like I don't need to share, or like it doesn't matter, and it's a kind of a habit I think I have sometimes. Yeah, I came home late from work last night and woke up quite early today, and there just seems to be like an endless list of work. Like I was thinking it would be like 3 days and 4 days and 3 days and four, but it's so now it has been like 4 and 4 and 5. And then I also have studio sessions, and I can see in my mind the thought of it is kind of overwhelming me,
Mm.
you know, and then with the lesson yesterday, like the light has come, so I know there is that decision that I can take, and I'm never upset for the reason I think so. In any moment, I can choose peace, but um, but the pain in my body still seems very real at times, right? So when you're saying these things this morning, I feel like I'm almost ready to buy it, but yet, I also want to go back to bed and rest my nervous system, you know. Uh, and it's funny because I did that for 3 months in the winter. I had like 3 really calm months lying a lot down. And I started to feel like a bigger joy actually when I was regulated. And now I'm feeling dysregulated. And I don't know if spirit just needs me to be dysregulated sometimes, or if I'm doing too much. I'm always questioning myself, doubting myself, especially with this music project where I'm recording. And I have beautiful meetings with my friend there, and it's just like 2 hours. It's quite gentle, but I'm I still judge myself, and we are finishing a song, and I want to put it out, but it's like, come on, Jonas, you narcissist, you want to put something out. Why is that? You want to be special. You want the women to like you. You know, you're wrong. You're not on the path like Vanessa is. You're not a Course in Miracles student. You're just a ego who wants to play music. And um, so, yeah, there is a lot there.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think a lot of those sort of attack thoughts you were just saying here at the end. They're they're not true. It's just this sort of attacking part within the mind. But I would also say that you know you can kind of be even maybe more accepting of whichever phase of things that you're in. We talked about kind of the more restful phase you were in, and that it was very kind of nurturing and nourishing for you. But you're given, you're kind of called to be more active now. And I think you can trust that too. And I don't think you're being punished or Holy Spirit wants you to kind of suffer or something because of this. But I think you're actually in a different way undoing these ideas of stress and pressure, and probably even undoing the belief that your nervous system can be negatively affected. Period. But obviously, if it shows up in your awareness, then there's a deeper place you can go with it. And I feel like you have been praying around it, and you're working with the experience, and that's it. That's, you know, there's different ways to kind of be worked with. And I think of a rock polisher. You know this machine. It's like if you find a rock and you want to polish it, you know, you put it in this drum with sand and water, and then it just spins. And over time, the sand polishes the stone. It kind of softens the rough parts of it, and it, you know, it comes out. It's this beautiful, polished, shiny stone. But there are parts of our journey that feel a bit like that. And, you know, it's like we're getting softened. We're getting the hard edges worn away because they're not really us. It's not like we're losing a part of ourselves. This is something that we were just ready to heal. But that process of kind of being, you know, gently worn away until it's shiny and smooth, sometimes it feels intense. So I would even invite you to look at it, even in this sort of more active part of your life that you're in right now, that there is actually a restful underneath, a restful support, a restful flow through it.
Undercurrent.
Yeah. Like an indwelling energy, even in the busier outward experience. That gentle healing purpose is no less present now than it was a few months back. And I feel like you are, it's like this is soaking into your being. I think you're experiencing this very differently than you would have, say, 2 or 3 years ago, for sure. But it's ready to go even deeper in you. I feel it.
There is so much resistance normally, you know.
But something is new. Something is new in you around this. Some doors are opening. Some flow is deepening. It's
Okay.
It's gonna keep deepening.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love it so much, Jonas.
I love you too.
Solva. Morning.
I think I would like to put something on the altar around my son. I have this, I think it's angered. Recently he admitted, and he told me, without even having to, he told me that he had an eye-opener around an addiction he had around a PlayStation game and using insane amount of money there. And even if he had a job now for almost a year, he still had no money. And that had been something his whole life. And I just suddenly realized how angry I am. And the anger comes up when he actually suddenly sees it. Yeah, there's all all sorts of things, betrayal, and I realized it's the same, exactly the same way I felt towards his father, who had the same thing. Yeah, it came up after he called yesterday and he wanted just to ask. He said something about a holiday he wants to take at the end of the year, and maybe he would visit us, and I could see this. I got really frustrated and irritated, and there's also there's this he decided to just stop using this, just stop buying these things in this game, and I probably don't trust that would happen, and I can see this is the same emotions I had around his dad. It was like all this hope and always disappointing. It's like always being disappointed.
And maybe, Solveig, you can be okay regardless of what he does or doesn't do.
Yeah, I think I have a big investment of how he is behaving.
Yeah, of course, let the feelings up, feel all the feelings. But I feel like there's an invitation here to kind of de-link your feelings to what other people are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I realized when speaking it through with Peter, I had the same thing around much smaller things, but with him, that if he keeps doing something that we haven't even talked about, I have this upset coming up. Feels like it's deliberately done to upset me. Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a little different with Peter because you are together with Peter, and it's important that you guys are joined about things and connecting and in communication.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. But what I realized this morning was I don't say anything. I get upset, but I don't say anything. And then that's just a way of breeding grievances. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let it all up, let it all wash through.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Recently, I remember Jenny said something about my salvation is not in a car that's driving or not breaking down, stuff like that. So my salvation is not in how it's what he's doing or not doing. But I definitely deep down think there is, yeah. And this has been going on for years. He's 29 now, so this has been going on for years. And I even have, until I went to Spain, took care of his finances and everything. And it's all the time, it was like I was hiding these emotions in this kind of helpfulness. I want to help him. I want him to be happy. I want, all these. I want him to have money. I don't want him to experience lack. And
Just want to do an exercise with you to imagine another young man living in another city in Denmark, having the exact same situation, spending a lot of money on video games that maybe is not helpful. How do you feel about this other us? What do you think about this other us?
Wow.
I'm guessing it's quite different than how you feel about what you believe is your son.
Mm. The first thing was less judgmental, actually. I would not judge him as hard.
Maybe, play with this exercise yourself, kind of use this way of thinking about it. Yeah, and just be compassionate with yourself, with him, with your thoughts.
Yeah, I can even see, I saw when I talked with him yesterday, I was this kind of actually wanting to know how it was going, like since he stopped. How can he feel any difference? Does he have money? It's like there's this need to know something. Need to know if he's actually doing it.
Yeah, and maybe you don't need to know.
I believe that would bring peace to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the story David tells often, where someone will ask him about someone that they haven't seen in a long time. Well, how's this person? And David will say, they're great. Oh, have you talked to them recently? No, I haven't talked to them in a long time. Well, how do you know they're great? Because I can feel them in my mind. I can feel their joy in my mind. The happiness is in me. They're in me. They're great in me. This is really all that matters. The ego is always going to seek for problems, and it will always find it. It'll always find a reason to not be peaceful.
So he's doing great.
I believe it.
Great.
I believe it. You can believe it.
I can believe it.
Yeah. You can know it. You can really know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. We can just take a nice deep breath. Vanessa?
I want to express my gratitude actually. When you talk about the beginning, you can get out of the sadness club, something like that. And the other day I was praying, like a question came to my mind, like, could you accept to be happy, only happy? And then I said, I could say like, oh, wait a minute. But regardless to the circumstance and the situation, and there were a lot of fear, like, oh no, maybe, wait a minute, what if yeah, a lot of conditioning, but the question kept coming to my mind, just be happy. And I was like, oh my God, this is my only function actually that God gave to me.
Mm-hmm.
And but a lot of thought, like, there are a lot of conditions that you have to fulfill to be happy.
Mm.
And then the question kept coming. And now you were saying that, and I feel I feel like when I'm happy in front of someone who is expressing some sadness, I can see like this doubt thought, like, you are ridiculous, you are not serious, like you are not respecting these people, this person. And I keep praying like, Jesus, help me to be truly helpful. Because it seems like when I join with sadness, I'm helping someone, but I don't feel good at all. And I feel really excited when you say, like about this club, sadness club. Like, oh yeah, I want to get out of this. And yeah, this deep desire, like it just when you feel the joy of God in my heart, like it just, I have, it's so many, I had so many experiences here in Sweden where when the, this small or whatever, when the weather is cold, but I can see when I'm feeling happy, I can tell you there is no weather, there is nothing. And then it's making me question like, oh, come on, if I'm feeling good now in a cold place or whatever, it's something inside me just help me to get in touch with this fountain, like the source, as Jesus talked to the woman, like if you knew who is asking you for water. Yeah, it just thank you so much. So much was like just came to really help me. Also, what you said, remember yourself or your mind, like you are here now. There's so much resistance to be here, to be in a lot of thought, just running. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, Barret.
That's good. I hear your desire for happiness. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. There are those points on our path where we kind of make a pledge. I just want the happiness. Like you said, I want the happiness no matter what's happening, no matter the circumstance, no matter the setting. I want to feel your love all the time, God, not just every now and then. And these kind of promises or these vows we make on our path are good. That's beautiful. That's how we get there. That's how we get through the parts of us that aren't so happy. Because we know it's leading us somewhere. We can face any shadow when we know what it's for. When we know going through the shadow is going to lead us to the peace. This is why we sort of have these tastes of experience as we progress on the journey, because we actually need that. We need the memory of the truth to take with us through the pain, through the struggle, through the hardship. We need to remember what we're doing all of this for. And again, as we go, it's like that knowledge, that awareness, that fact of God's love for us gets deeper and stronger. And that permits us to go through more of our fear, more of our doubt, more of the suffering. Because we know it's just temporary. We're just moving through this so that we can heal it. And as we go deeper and deeper with this, we do literally get to a place where there's nothing we can't face, because we know we carry that love. We carry, God's love. We carry the witness of Christ with us. And that's it. That's what we do. We just deepen in that awareness of love. I mean, when we get to the point where we know deep within us that there's nothing that we cannot face, there's like a freedom in that. It's like we're you know, roller coasters have different phases. You know, in the beginning of a roller coaster, you kind of go click, 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 click uphill. And it feels like, okay, there's like work here. I have to work to get up the hill. But once you get over that part, there's like a free flow. You're just riding down the rails. And it might do loops, it might do big things, it might do things that even are a little intense at times, but you're just flowing with it. You're just following. Actually, the rails are all set out ahead of you already. You might not see or know where you're going to go, but the rails are there. They're going to take you all the way to where you're going. So again, a part of our journey is the sort of click, 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 click up the hill. We have to get up the hill, but it leads to the flow. And that's actually the fun part. That's the fun part of the roller coaster. It's the joyful and free part. Yeah. So we can just allow whatever part we're on. If we're in a part of our journey where it feels like, okay, we're kind of working uphill a little, that's okay. That's one phase of the journey. It's actually necessary for us to go through that. And if we're in a part that's just flow, and we can just enjoy that. And the way that we make it as smooth as we can is to remember what it's all for. Remember what we're doing all of it for. We keep our goal of healing in mind, of remembering the truth of who we are, remembering God's love. That makes it gentler. That helps us with each part, with each sort of click up the hill. So, but there's a part before that too, which is you have to buy the ticket for the ride. You have to buy the ticket to get into the roller coaster. And what is that ticket? The ticket is your willingness, your willingness. I've known a lot of people who weren't willing to get on the roller coaster, both literally and metaphorically. Literally, yeah, of course, you know, some people don't like roller coasters, fine. But in this metaphorical expression, there's way, way more people who don't want to get on the roller coaster. Almost no one really wants to do this healing work. But what about you? What do you want? I think you want to get on the ride. I think you want to buy the ticket. I mean, it is your call. But that's great. It is your call. It is your call if you want to buy the ticket. There's no actual cost. It's just a decision. Willingness to open your mind, to look at what's inside. And you don't even do that alone. You do that with spirit. You do that with loving support. So I'm like a roller coaster fan. I love all these rides. But you know what I love more than the physical rides? I love the healing ride. I love the healing ride. So when you're deciding to buy a ticket, no, I'm standing right beside you, encouraging you, saying you're going to be glad. You're going to be glad you got the ticket on this ride. Even if you're scared. I had a friend who was scared of roller coasters, but he went on one with me. And sometimes, they take a picture on the drop that you get to see at the end. Oh my God, he was terrified. But he was also glad he did it. He was glad he faced his fear. We're always glad if we face our fear, because that means we don't have to hang on to it anymore. We're that much lighter. We're that much freer. We're actually ready for the next, maybe even a little bigger roller coaster. But we don't need to think ahead. We can just work with whatever one is right here for us. And that loving friend is always there with us. Holy Spirit loves to take this ride with us. On these roller coasters, you get to put your arms in there. Hey! You get to scream with joy. It's very fun. But you got to get on. You got to get on to experience it. Got to get onto the ride in order to experience the joy of it. It's the only way. So again, what does that mean here? It means to say, I'm willing. I'm willing to look within. I'm willing to open up for healing. This is what I want. And it's actually kind of a simpler decision when you get that you're really saying, this is what I want, and this is happiness. This is what I want. I want happiness. I know in order to feel this peaceful, happy state of mind, I have to do my healing work. I have to get on the roller coaster of witnessing my fears, opening the closed parts within me. It's never as bad as we think it's going to be. So if you're looking for a better club than the Sad Story Believers Club, you can get on the Healing Roller Coaster Club. I'm in that club. Jonas is coming along. I'll go to that roller coaster club every day, every minute, every hour. I mean, as many times. I literally have a cousin who is in one of these roller coaster clubs, and he goes to these roller coaster places all the time. And that's what they do. You know what they get? They get a special access. They get to go into the park an hour before it would normally open. Just their little club of however many people, however many 100 people or something. And so they get to ride all these roller coasters over and over and over again before there's even a line. Well, let's do it. Let's get in the club. Let's ride the ride. There's no line. There's no line for healing. We don't have to wait. We never have to wait unless we want to wait, unless we're choosing to wait. That's the only line we experience. But Holy Spirit always has the access. He always gets us to the front of the line. So if we say yes, we're going to get in. We're going to get in the next car that goes up the tracks. And it does bring us the joy. So just to know that it helps. It helps. If we're in the fearful part of the story, if we're in the fearful part of, I don't know if I want to do this, I don't know if I want to open my mind completely, I don't know if I don't know if I can. Maybe we're that afraid we don't even know if we can. Just to remember that it leads to the joy, it leads to the happiness, it leads to the lightness of spirit. That helps. That helps. It helps us get through those sticky, sad, scary parts. Just to know, yeah, again, admission to this club is free. It's completely free. It's freedom. It's the best club. It's the best club ever. So I've got my hands in the air. I'm screaming in happiness and joy with you. We'll take some fun pictures of our of our ride in the car. So I think that's a good, happy, fun thought for us to wind down on today. But I'm holding you with me. I feel you with me. You know, these cars are linked. They're linked together. So it's a strong link. It's a strong, safe link. So you can trust. You can say yes if you're ready, if you want to. Okay. And if there's something didn't come up or out in the session, reach out. You know, we're always here for you guys. We'll see you again sometime very soon. Yeah, love you guys. Have a great day. All right. Bye, everyone.